What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Extra Innings Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Rodriguez. It's been a minute since I've done one of these. It's only been about a little bit over a week. Yeah, I think I just need a little bit of a break, man. I was like knocking these out since April, really since the season started, every single day podcast, and then on top of like posting content, on top of like shorts. So yeah, I was like, I'm gonna just take a little break, about a week and a half off, a little vacation, a little staycation, I guess is the way to put it. But I didn't stop watching baseball, so people thought I stopped watching baseball. It did not happen. I was watching baseball the entire time. I think the last thing I reported on was the home run derby. Did watch the All Star game, which was boring as hell, and that needs to be fixed. But we're long past that. Yeah, so we got a couple topics today we're going to talk about today. Kind of a news episode to get us back going and get us started again. Um, First on my list, obviously, 2 days ago, the trade deadline passed, came and went. So we're gonna talk about a couple of those big trades that happened or didn't happen. I know I was on it to the last possible second on Tuesday, hoping that some things would move, and some things actually didn't go at all, which is crazy. But the first one, the last trade that was really, I guess, it wasn't even really a blockbuster trade because the pitcher that I'm about to talk about hasn't been really. He's been okay. He's been all right. Hasn't been anything like monumental by any means, but the Dodgers acquired Jack Flaherty from the Tigers for Trey Sweeney and I think another catcher. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, it was Dayron Lorenzo. So yeah, and this happened like literally. I mean, I went to go to the movies right right before the deadline ended. I thought no way anybody gets this, and the Dodgers landed him, but. I know the Yankees were in on him. I think there were a couple other teams that were in on him, and apparently the Yankees pulled out because he had some back problem, like about a month ago. He had injections, and that's a pretty shitty reason to not get a guy who's been pitching quite well this year. I think that was just an excuse because the Yankees don't want to pay shit apparently because Cashman is up his own ass. But yeah, so that was a big trade. The Dodgers, stacked that up on their pitching rotation, though pitching seems to be their issue big time. Like I've stated multiple times this past year, they've got no Gonsolin, they've got no May, which I'm pretty sure May will probably get dealt in the offseason. Kershaw's back, but Kershaw is, yeah, he's here and there, I guess, hit and miss, and then Glass now, who's doing okay, and then no Yamamoto. So they really needed him. Obviously, I felt like they were going to put in quite a bit to get him, so they needed some starting pitching. Yeah, but honestly, that was one of the big ones of the day. There wasn't really anything huge. I think the Padres got Tanner Scott, which was a decent trade from the Marlins. Sorry, yeah, they got Tanner Scott and Brian Hoeing from the Marlins for Snelling, Mazur, Pauly, and then Bashirs, so not a big one. Alex Cobb went to the Guardians. Nobody knows. So the Yankees did some bullpen trading. I know if they got Leiter Jr., which was a bullpen piece, but didn't really push the needle for me. Then they got Aniel De Los Santos from the Padres, another one that's kind of whatever. A lot of little moves happened. I'm not saying that nothing happened, but there are a lot of little moves. Obviously, if you go all the way back to when trading really began, Luis Ariz to the Padres, the Marlins have been big on they're pretty much going to sell the team, and they did. So what else we got here? Oh, the Dodgers got Kevin Kiermaier. That was a decent size one. Kiermaier's kind of, been playing well, so that's a good one for the Dodgers. The Dodgers definitely stacked. They're going in for it all like they do every year, which is what I wish some other teams would do. Let's see, nobody. Okay, so we got to talk about the White Sox and the trade deadline. So if you didn't know, the White Sox are having a franchise worst season, this season this year. It's awful. I think right now we're going to talk about it in a little bit. I think they've lost like 16 straight games so far, which is worse than what they did earlier this year, which was like 14 games, which is awful. But I remember, the big three pieces were Eloy Jimenez for the White Sox, Crochet, and Robert Jr. Now, Crochet, which is a hot pitcher, this is his first big year in the big leagues. I think he pitched a little bit last year, but really came into his own this year. Hot commodity, great pitcher. Everyone needs starting pitching in the big leagues, obviously. But he came out and said, I'm not getting traded. If I'm getting traded to pitch in the postseason, I want a contract extension. And that was not only because you're going to get him for the year, and he's not really under a lot of club control right now. He's still probably a big league minimum. Nothing crazy happened in his career. Like I said, this is his first full year in the big leagues, and that really turned off a lot of prospects who wanted him to go, and it really I think it soured a little bit of his relationship with the White Sox because they want to deal him, they want the cash to kind of build something on the back end, and he's like, I'm not going. And I'm not signing unless you get me a contract extension to pitch in the postseason. Because if you want me to pitch in October to protect, and I get it 100% I understand his reasoning, but that's not going to bode well with the White Sox. Not going to bode well for other clubs when they're like, hey, we want you to come pitch, and they're like, you got to extend me if you want me to pitch in October. If you trade me and I go, and then you don't extend me, I'm not pitching in October. So I get it for his health, his longevity, his career. He's just getting started, but at the same time, not a good look. So he's one guy that was pretty much, they were going to trade him faster than anybody else, but they were like, yeah, no, we're going to have to keep him because no one wants to make that kind of deal. And then they decided to keep Robert Jr. He didn't go anywhere, but Jimenez did go to the Orioles, which is a big boost for them. Obviously, they're trying to make a massive playoff run. They're still, I think, one game ahead of the Yankees. If I'm not mistaken, let me pull up the standings. Let me see. I'm pretty sure because I know the Yankees were a half game back. Yeah, okay, so they're still a half game back as of yesterday. So they're trying to keep that first place spot, though the Yankees have heated up. So I don't know how that's going to go. See if there's any other big trades that I just happen to miss. Yeah, no, I mean a lot of these are a lot of small. Caleb Ferguson went to the Astros from the Yankees, which is for Kelly Austin. Again, not a big trade. Obviously, Caleb Ferguson has been a hit or miss for the Yankees this year. So him going, not a huge loss, I'd say, but yeah, that is what it is. Diamondbacks got Josh Bell, who they actually DFA'd, which is crazy. I don't know what that was about. That was weird. They DFA'd Josh Bell, who hit a home run, I think, the last 2 games, and then they just DFA'd him. Makes no fucking sense to me. But D-backs got him. Not quite sure what they're going to do with him because he's been playing a little bit at first. I don't know. That'll be an interesting one to see. I know they have, Walker, who was a big-ass all-star snub. Great player there, so we'll see. Yeah, the Yankees got our leader for Jack Neely. Jack Neely's a San Antonio guy. Crazy enough, man. So he's going to be a Cub. Crazy. Yeah, so a lot of these were kind of dull, I mean, not a whole lot happening. I was expecting a little bit more. Justin Turner did go to the Mariners from the Blue Jays, a veteran guy, played in LA for a while. Justin Turner's a good ball player. He's a good ball player. Veteran. That's a good trade. On his way out for sure. He's 39. So again, a lot of these trades, and I think people were kind of expecting a little bit more. The White Sox were the guys that were going to be making the big deals, and they didn't deal shit. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen now. But like I said, the deadline was it was a little rough. It was a little rough. I thought there was going to be a little bit more. I really thought there'd be a little bit more. Lorenzen was another one from the Rangers. So a lot of people were confused about this move. I was talking to a couple buddies of mine who are Rangers fans, and they're like, why did we get rid of Lorenzen? Well, you got to think about it, man. Lorenzen kind of came in later this season, and the thing with that was, they've got Eovaldi, they've got a lot of pitching coming back, they've got Heaney, they got Gray. I think they're expecting a couple guys to return within the next couple weeks that they'd rather have. They didn't have a lot really, they didn't really invest a lot into Lorenzen. He was kind of a late season pickup earlier this year. Not anything against Michael Lorenzen. Michael Lorenzen's been here for a while with the Reds. He's kind of jumped around a little bit. Definitely can be a two-way guy. People forget that Lorenzen can be a two-way guy. He drops bombs and he can play the outfield, but obviously he's a great pitcher. And that he got dealt to the Royals. So, one of those deals that's kind of like, could go either way. You don't know how that's going to pan out. But the Royals definitely wanted to boost their rotation. The Royals are also a good ball club. Let me see something real quick. Where are the Royals at in the standings? They're in the National. Why am I looking in the AL? They're in the National League. Am I blind? Are they in the A? Am I fucking? Yeah. What the hell am I doing, bro? Sorry, guys. It's early as shit. First one back. I'm going to be a little rusty. So the Royals are sitting in 3rd place. They're about 6 games back behind the Twins. The Guardians, I'm serious. As I was watching the trade deadline, going through all this stuff, the Guardians are fucking 65-42. It's gonna be tough these next couple months. Let's see. But yeah, a lot of these other trades, like I'm going through these, not a whole lot, man. Like a lot of lower end guys, a lot of prospects being moved around. Oh, but the one that we have to talk about, and I've been saving this one. Jazz Chisholm to the Yankees. I was nervous. I was like, I'm a Yankee fan, and I know the culture. I know the way that the Yankees operate. I was nervous with Stroman coming in this past offseason because the Yankees are very much a very cut and dry organization. They don't have a whole lot of like swag to them, I guess. They like to play clean cut baseball. And Jazz Chisholm and Marcus Stroman plays loud, or used to play loud. He's really toned it down as he's gotten to New York, honestly, which is surprising. But Jazz Chisholm was a guy that I was like, holy shit, how is this going to go down? Super nervous. I was like, will he gel? Could this? Because the Yankees, when they got Jazz Chisholm, a lot of people don't know that the Yankees were kind of, they weren't playing good ball for. They lost, like, I think, a lot of series straight. I'm not going to go through the details because I've talked about it before. The Yankees were not playing good baseball. They were not playing well. They needed help big time. And then all of a sudden, you got Jazz Chisholm, which from as I was outside looking in when it happened, I was like, why are they getting into the outfield? You got Verdugo, you got Grisham, you got Judge, you got Soto. You got plenty of guys that can play the outfield. Stanton can even play if you need him out there. So they had a lot of outfielders. I was kind of like, but I completely forgot when this happened that Chisholm actually came up in the league as a shortstop. He's an infielder by trade. He got moved to the outfield in Miami. He's actually stepped up and played a lot of third base these last couple of days, and he's played it fucking well. And surprising, he hit 4 bombs in his first 2 games. No, he hit 4, I think, because he played in Boston, did okay, got a hit in that last game against Boston, and then hit 4 home runs in 2 games against the Phillies, just absolutely dominated. So, I mean, the dude's fitting in well, making plays at third, doing everything that we've expected him to do. Everyone's kind of like Jazz has played for pretty much a non-existent team his entire career in Miami. So for him to come to the biggest stage and play in New York, everyone was like, this is the stage for him. And after I saw that, I totally fucking agree. This is where he belongs, man. He belongs playing on a stage like this. And for the first time in his career, he's going to be playing in games that actually fucking matter. He's not just going to be going out, well, we're fucking like in last place. Let me see what I can do. You know, it's hard to be energetic. It's hard to play well when everything is stacked against you. So I'm super excited to see what Jazz Chisholm Jr. does. I mean, honestly, I'm super pumped. He's played hella well to this point. I mean, he's shown us that he can play in New York. He can handle it. Though he hasn't technically played in New York yet. They played in Fenway. They just had this series in Philadelphia. So we're going to see. We're going to see. But I think that he'll shine even brighter in New York, hopefully. That's just the kind of personality he has. I mean, the dude walked into Fenway, into the dugout with a Yankee hat backwards. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think anybody else has ever seen that. Ballsy move to walk into the dugout for the New York Yankees with your fucking hat backwards. But dude backed it up. Can't say shit. It was going to be one of those things where it's like, no one's going to say anything, but if you suck, we're going to say something. But he didn't. He did play well. Stanek goes to the Mariners. I'm sorry, Stanek goes to the Mets from the Mariners. Another decent big one, I guess, Zach Eflin is going to the Orioles. They stack pitching there too, which the Orioles are. I'm not scared of the Orioles. I'm worried about the Orioles. The Orioles are a strong team, man. Also called up Jackson Holliday yesterday, hit a grand slam. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So the Orioles are a force to be reckoned with. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. AJ Puk goes to the Diamondbacks. I'm trying to kind of go through these. There's obviously a lot of moves a lot of behind the scenes moves that you're not going to see a lot, but that's about it. So like I said, a couple moves here and there that I would consider big moves, but not anything where I'm like, oh my God, like this is a big deal. All right. So now, as I talked about earlier with Jackson Holliday got recalled yesterday after his kind of, I guess, I don't want to say failed attempt. They called him up pretty quickly, kind of out of the blue. And I think that it was a bit much for him at the time. So he had his first game back yesterday. I'm a little worried. He last played in the big leagues on 423 against the Angels. He had 1 hit. He was batting like a $183 or like a buck. Not even. He was below that. I was reading his OPS. He was actually batting .077, so 77, which is not good in the big leagues, right? But he's their number 1 prospect. He's still everyone's number 1 prospect. He went back down to AAA, corrected some shit. Excuse me. Corrected some stuff, and did all right in AAA. Honestly, he did okay. Let me see if I can find his stats. Hold on, because he did perform well in AAA after getting sent back down. Let me see. Yeah, so they recalled him yesterday. Obviously, still, he had a tough game. Batting against Toronto. 5 at-bats, 1 run. He scored 1 hit, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, and he struck out. But 1 was a grand slam, so those RBIs came in. Still batting about $180. Still batting he's batting .77 now. So interesting enough there. And his stat line here as of now is 6 runs, 39 at-bats, 6 runs, 3 hits, only 1 home run, 5 RBIs. So we're gonna see. They got him at second base. They're going to keep Henderson at short. That's not going to change. But we're going to see. We're going to see if he's got it, because this is obviously a second shot at this. So it's like, hey, I'm not saying now or never. I'm not saying that at all. But I think the front office is taking a big look at this next little thing they got going with him, because honestly, if you can't pull it out now, I don't know. But let's see. I mean, he did drop a bomb. Everyone was like, oh, it was a minor league guy who got called up. Well, he's still in the big leagues. Got called up, so it's still a big league home run. Call it for what you will. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm gonna kind of follow him and see what's going on. So Jazz and the Yankees, we kind of already talked about it. I had it lower, but we'll talk about it a little bit again. Just hint on it. The Yankees have been playing pretty subpar baseball, if anything at all. And they lost all those series. To the Rays they lost the series. To Boston in New York they lost that series. So they were losing series left and right. I mean, it was brutal to watch, man. It was tough to watch. And then even earlier this week, last week on, I think it was Thursday. I remember because I was watching it. It was the night of the opening ceremony for the Olympics, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not watching this. I'm gonna watch the fucking Yankee game." So I went off to another room, and I was watching the fucking Yankee game, and those motherfuckers blew it in the fucking, in the bottom of this. I think it was the 8th or 7th or 8th, and they just couldn't climb back. And I was pretty upset. I was pretty upset about it. And then they won the next day, which is, I was like, okay, we got this one. And then obviously Chisholm comes in and they just smoked the Red Sox to close out the series, and they took that series, first series win in a while. And then they go to Philly, and then they just smoked. 14-4 the first night, beat them the next night, so they sweep the Phillies. Are the Yankees back? I don't know. Did Jazz Chisholm ignite some sort of fire? I don't know. But something happened. Something changed. And I'm here for it. I'm so fucking here for it, man. Like, the Yankees are a half game back. They luckily, because they played so well earlier this season, they had that wiggle room to kind of fuck up a little bit and still beat okay. I think with how, and what also helped was that Baltimore hit a skid these last couple weeks. They've also been in a little bit of skid pre-All-Star break, and then going back into the All-Star break, they've been in a skid, and that helped as well. So it'll be interesting to see these next couple weeks how this plans out. Obviously the Orioles made some moves. Yankees made no moves besides some relievers. I thought they needed starting pitching. I really thought they needed starting pitching. I was a little worried that Jazz Chisholm was going to be treated as an outfielder. Thank God they're using him in the infield. He plays infield well, plays third. You got Cabrera as well. You got LeMay, who's been struggling, but came into his own 6 RBIs yesterday. So it'll be interesting. It'll be really interesting to see what's going to happen here. But hopefully this Jazz Chisholm, this new kind of found energy, will kind of ignite them a little bit. It seems like it has. So we're going to see. Now the White Sox. Oh, man, the White Sox. We got to talk about the White Sox. The White Sox have lost 16 straight ball games. The deadline didn't pan out for them. They were trying to get rid of all these guys, acquire some cash, maybe some prospects to maybe try to build something in the next 1 to 2 years. Obviously, it probably would be facetious to think they could do it next year. But, one of those things. Yeah, they lost to the – it's not like they're getting beat. It's not like they're getting like their asses kicked or anything. Like 4-3 to the Royals. The Royals are a good ball club, so that's kind of it's kind of a kick in the nuts almost. Like, damn it. White Sox carried a lead into the 8th inning, 2-1, and they still dropped it. All right, here we go. So we got some data here. Let's see what this says. So we got the previous longest White Sox losing streak stood at 15 games and straddled the 1967 and 1968 seasons. They lost the last 5 games of 1967, and they got off to an 0-10 start in 1968. Now in 2024, they've lost 16 straight in a single season, which is a new franchise record. Before which they broke that again, which was at 14 on June 7th. My God. So the loss dropped to Chicago. Yeah. So this is pretty bad, guys. 16 straight games, guys. When you've got guys that are like, when you had Eloy Jimenez, you had, you have Kopech, you have Crochet, you had, they had some good ball players. They had Pham earlier this year who also got dealt. I think they DFA'd him and he went to St. Louis. Like, it's not like they have a lack of talent. It's not like they're that bad of a club. So there's got to be something else happening here, something else going on that these guys are just not playing well. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you. I have no clue. But to be honest with you, like, I'm at a loss. I'm at a fucking loss here, bro. Like, what is happening? And obviously, it's going to be something that's going to be inside deal. And this is why I was a little bit worried. I was kind of like, so Crochet is saying, I'm not leaving unless you're going to extend me. And I'm kind of like, bro, wouldn't you want to leave? Like, isn't your ticket, like, and this is what I tell, it's the same thing with the A's. It's the same thing with the A's. It's like, they have a great farm system. A lot of guys come up and they sell, and they sell, and they sell, which is, they're a shitty organization, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's kind of like you're getting out. It's like, I want to get out of this place. I want to go play for a team that's actually going to try to win, that's going to pay me, that's going to actually compete. So, like, wouldn't you as a ball player, and I get, and it's tough because, a lot of these guys, it's like you want out of here and you want to go compete. That's the whole reason we play this game. You want to compete, you want to win, you want to put your name in a record book somewhere, you want to be somewhere where it fucking matters, not where you're losing 16 games straight and you're pretty much a laughing stock of the MLB. That's why I was so shocked when he said that. I was like, bro, I would be like, I don't care. Get me the fuck out of Chicago so I can go pitch for a team and we can try to win. That's what matters to me. So I don't know what's going on in Chicago. There's clearly a culture issue. Maybe there's something going on between the players, front office, management. There's some sort of diabolical triangle happening in Chicago, at least, on the south side of Chicago, not on the north side. But I don't know, man. It's strange things happening out in Chicago right now. And, whatever. Now, we're going to talk about Clayton Kershaw. I got a couple more topics right at the 22 mark. So Kershaw left yesterday without recording, or his last start without recording a strikeout, which hasn't happened since the NLDS, which we all know Kershaw has a kryptonite of pitching in the postseason. Not new. It's something that's he's had a lot of issues with, and that's something that's been characteristic of him. He's great, but when it matters, he doesn't show up. And that's one of those things, man, like, I don't know. Okay, so here we go. He's 0-1 with a 5.87 ERA, 2 games pitched, 2 games started. He's only thrown 7 innings. 7.2, 6 strikeouts. So yesterday he pitched for his second start. On the 25th, he pitched against San Francisco. Got a no decision, 4 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Not a bad start for Kershaw, especially with how old he is, man. He's 36. He's been in the league for a long time. We're looking at a former guy who used to throw in the high 90s. Now is like 90, 89 to 91 at best. Still got that legendary loopy curveball. But yesterday against San Diego, which I think San Francisco and San Diego's a much better ball club than San Francisco is. Let me just be honest. 0-1, so he lost the game. 3.2, so 3 and 2/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts. He didn't strike out a single batter. Are the Dodgers worried about Kershaw? I would be. I would be a little bit worried. You were hoping for more out of him, obviously, but then again, I'm one of those guys who likes to see it from 2 different standpoints, right? So from a money standpoint, from a legacy standpoint, you want more out of Kershaw. You expect more. He's a veteran, been around the game a long time. Joe battled a lot of injury. We expect a lot. We need you here. This is our guy. He's been our guy. He's solidified. Never played for another team in his career. You think of Los Angeles, you think of Kershaw, right? But on the flip side, he's 36. He's been injury riddled for the last 3 years, missing a lot of ball. He doesn't have the same velo. He doesn't have the same touch. Doesn't have the same, the same, command that he once had. So how much do you really expect? How much are you really expecting out of him? That's kind of my thing. How much are you really trying to get out of him? That's kind of where I'm at here. And at the same time, could be a bad start. Could have just been a bad start. Took Blake Snell. He came back in he started really late, and he's just now coming into his own. Another guy I thought was going to get dealt, Blake Snell, didn't move. But at the same time, how much do you really expect out of Kershaw? Are you expecting him to be that guy, or do we have to kind of sit back and think, okay, maybe he's your 4 or 5 guy. He's not your 1. But yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's not a single strikeout for Kershaw last night. Weird. Again, how much do you really expect out of him? 36 years old, and so many injuries his last couple of years. Missed more than half of this year due to injuries. It's going to be one of those things. How much more does he really have in the tank? Lots of questions. All right. Now, the team that has been at the top of everyone's talking list, considering how awful things were, the glove toss, the people were pissed, everything. The Astros I thought were going to take Pete Alonso, and they never did. So the biggest team that I'm going to talk about right now to close it off, the fucking New York Mets. Let's see. And the question that a lot of people are asking, and for a while, people were like, who's the better team in New York right now? And for quite a bit of time, considering how shitty the Yankees were playing, The Mets were the best team in New York for about a month, I'd say. Really all of July. They were the best team in New York. What happened to the article I was just about to read? Good God. All right. So the Mets had an awful month of May. Really, it was all the way from the beginning of the season to May. I thought, the Mets are washed. Here we go. If you're a Mets fan, I'm so fucking sorry. And then they had the whole thing where they imploded, and then what's his name threw the glove over the fence, and that was a fucking mess. They won in May. They won 9 out of 28 games in May. And then Grimace happened. And then the Grimace era happened, and now they are above 500. They're sitting at 49 and 46, and they're in the second. They're at what? Are they in second place right now? Hold on. Let me see where they're at. They fucking swept the Yankees earlier. They swept them both times, beat them twice. Crazy enough. So the Mets are sitting in third place currently. They're 8 games back from the Phillies. The Phillies have kind of a commanding league, 65 and 43. Behind them are the Braves. People are freaking out about the Braves. Don't freak out. I have a couple buddies on my Sunday league team who are like mega Braves fans, and they're like, "Fuck the Braves, sell the team, blah blah blah." I'm like, guys, and it's hard to argue with people like that because I actually had to, and it was in a group text, and I was arguing with them, and they were like, we don't have this. We don't have that. The Mets are playing, the Braves are playing like shit, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, guys, you got Freed, you got Wright, you got, a lot of guys. Injuries, Spencer Strider's gone. A lot of guys are hurt. Relax. You're still in second place. You're going to get that wild card spot. You're only 6 games back. There's plenty of time left. You got today's August 1st. You got all of August and at least half of September to try to make some of that up. So don't freak out. But back to the Mets. Sorry, I saw the Braves and I talked about that. The Mets are only 8 games back, 57 and 51. This article is a little bit dated. Yeah. Are the Mets a playoff team? Let's see. Francisco Lindor are obviously, he's taking it fucking, my God, the guy's going off. They did have a pretty rough loss last night to the Twins, who are 59 and 48, are also not a bad team. Let's see. I just kind of want to look at, they got Alonso, they've got, Lindor, they've got, Carlos Mendoza's a great manager. I think he's awesome. So I think, Severino's been pitching his ass off. Like, there are a lot of great things happening in New York. But do I think they're a playoff team? I think we'll know if they perform well in August. I think we'll know. Edwin Diaz is kind of Manea's been pitching okay. Ottavino's been all right. Quintana's okay. They got Stanek. They boosted that up. Severino. Let's see, catcher. They got Alvarez. Great. He's a pretty good catcher. Alonso, Iglesias, Lindor, McNeil, Vientos. It's not bad. It's not looking that bad, guys. Bader, Gamel, Nimmo, Tyrone Taylor, who's hit or miss, Winkler, and then you got JD Martinez. So are they a playoff caliber team? I've been asked this a couple times. Like I said, guys, I haven't been here, but believe me, baseball didn't stop in my life. I don't know. They didn't show us that they were earlier this year, but then after this whole Grimace thing happened, they apparently figured it out. But at the same time, I think we need to see August. I think we're going to need to see August. I think we're going to see how it pans out if some of these hot streaks continue to bolster through, or if guys cool off. It's going to be one of those things. I'm going to have to honestly not give you an answer. That was a question I got asked the other day. Are the Mets a playoff team? I don't know. Played well in July. Really well in July. Shit. It's hard to say that they didn't. They played really fucking well in July. They got a decent prospect system. They got a lot of guys in the farm system that play well. So we're going to see. I think that they could be. I think they could put something together. Are they the 2015 Mets? No. Are they the 2016 Mets? No. They're very scrappy. They're a scrappy ball club that looks like they kind of got, stitched together piece by piece randomly throughout these last couple of years. But it's going to be interesting to see. Are the Mets a playoff ball club? I think ask me in 3 weeks. By mid-August, ask me then. But anyway, guys, thanks for listening. I appreciate y'all tuning back in. If you did, I know it's been a minute. We're going to get these going again. We'll be back. No weekend episodes, obviously, but we're going to be back. We'll have another one tomorrow, and we'll have one on Monday, and we're going to keep it rolling. We're going to keep it going. We'll also have some stuff on social, so be on the lookout for that. I promise we're going to have those out. I promise. But again, guys, thanks for listening. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. We'll have more episodes coming. I need to do more breakdowns. I know everyone's been like, where are the breakdowns? I've had like 3 guys message me. I've had a couple guys basically like, hey, yo, where's the baseball shit? So I'm going to get the baseball stuff going. I've been doing movie reviews. I've been working on some music stuff with my buddy. So I've been kind of thrown all over the place. That's kind of what kind of caused this little hiatus. But I'm back. We're good. We're going to talk about baseball. It's about to start heating up for sure. So yeah, guys, we will catch you guys tomorrow. And again, thanks for listening.